Hello yogis, welcome to hopefully our last home studio practice. This is a Vinyasa flow class entitled Transitions. Really taking a little bit of time to pause and notice our transition out of this period of isolation back into the world and thinking about any things we might like to try anew, any habits we might like to leave here, and really just taking a moment to clock some pause as we transition. Hope you enjoy the class.
Lying on your back in Shavasana, or maybe legs up the wall, perhaps arms just alongside you, or maybe one hand to heart, one hand to belly. In today's class, all about transitions. So just watching even this first transition as you move from your day onto your mat. Noticing how it might take a few moments just to arrive and settle in. Just allow yourself to notice any parts of your body that are in contact with the floor. Allow them to feel heavy and relaxed into the mat. We're going to move into square breathing to start with. So take an exhale, releasing your breath. An inhale, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the top of your inhale, holding the breath. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the bottom. 3, 2, 1. Inhaling. 3, 2, 1. Pausing. 3, 2, 1. Exhaling. 3, 2, 1. Pausing. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Pause. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Pausing. 3, 2, 1. Inhaling. 3, 2, 1. Pause. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Pause. 3, 2, 1. Just continue to follow this breath, this pattern of breath, helping us again to notice those moments of transition, the moments of pause just before you exhale, and the moment of transition just before you inhale. And as we start the practice tonight, just taking a moment to reflect on what the last 6 weeks has been for you, what you've observed in yourself, what you've learnt. And perhaps it's been a time of pause, or perhaps it's been a very busy time for you. But just acknowledging whatever it has been. Historically, pandemics have forced humans to break with the past and imagine their world anew. This one is no different. It is a portal, a gateway between one world and the next. So choosing an intention or allowing an intention to arise for your practice, something that reflects time of your isolation, or perhaps an intention that's going to assist you moving forward to hopefully unfolding into something new. In today's practice, a focus on opening up into our heart space, cultivating courage to move guided by the wisdom of our own hearts. So wherever you are, starting to stack your hands on top of one another at your heart space, keeping your intention at the front of your mind. And I invite you to seal these intentions with a sound of Om, feeling free to listen or join in as you feel comfortable. Taking an exhale to prepare. And a deep inhale to chant. Gently releasing your hands, fluttering open your eyes wherever you are, working yourself back onto your mat, coming to all fours, your tabletop shape. I'm going to head straight into our thread the needle twist, extending your right arm up towards the sky, and then bringing the right hand all the way behind the left wrist, lower down onto your right shoulder, maybe lowering the right ear to the mat or onto a pillow. Shift the left hand off the mat, or if you'd like to, you could press the left hand forward, grounding it back towards the front of your mat. And then a slight drag of your right shoulder back towards the right side of your mat till you find a little bit of traction across the top of your right shoulder and down into the right side of your body. And then just pause here, keeping your hips high up above your knees. Finding this gentle deltoid or shoulder stretch. Keeping the breath flowing. Three more breaths. And bringing your left hand back alongside your face. Uncurl out of this shape, reaching the right arm all the way up to the sky. Then placing the right hand back to the mat, switch to the other side. Left fingertips reach up, open the chest. Exhale, thread the back of the left hand all the way through over to the right side of your room. Lower onto the left shoulder, lower onto the left ear. Maybe slightly adjust the right hand off your mat, or you could press the right hand to the front of your mat. Slight dragging of your left shoulder along the mat towards the left side of your mat. Finding a stretch over the left shoulder. Dropping into your breath. Finding that ujjayi breath in and out of your nose if you can. Slide the right hand back alongside your face, uncurling out, reaching the left arm all the way up to the sky, placing both hands to the mat. Anahata, melting heart pose, maybe stepping the knees back. Keep the hips above the knees. Extend your hands towards the front corners of your mat and allow your chest to start to drop down towards your mat. Maybe you bring your forehead to rest onto the mat. Maybe, if the body allows, the chin could rest on the mat. Send some breath down in towards the armpits. Let your chest soften down towards the mat. Let the tops of your shins, the tops of your feet be relaxed into the mat. This is our first gentle back bend today. We're working with a few back bends, metaphorically about looking back in order to move forward. Gently bring some weight back into your hands. Child's pose, bringing your hands all the way back to be palms facing up alongside your heels. Forehead relaxing onto the mat, or if it's high away from the mat, rest a pillow underneath your forehead. If the buttocks are high away from the heels, rest a pillow underneath your buttocks. Otherwise, just letting your shoulders soften forward. Letting your sit bones reach towards your heels. And you might like to hold here, or you could take rabbit pose, rabbit, holding on tight onto your heels and starting to lift the middle of your spine up towards the sky, curling your forehead towards your knees, the middle of your back reaching to the sky, the arms are straight and strong, holding onto the heels tightly. If this isn't possible, just coming back to child's pose. A nice big stretch for the back of the body, opening up into the back of your heart space. And then release your heels, your sit bones to your heels if you'd come into rabbit, and everyone uncurl the spine, coming to kneeling at the back of the mat. Spine upright. If this is really uncomfortable, again, elevate the hips, bring a pillow or block underneath the hips. Seated cat-cow. Start by drawing the chest forward, letting the shoulders roll back, taking your gaze up. And exhale, curl the middle of your spine towards the back of the mat. Drop your chin to your chest, allow your shoulders to round forward. Inhaling, chest forward, shoulders back, gaze up. Exhaling, belly to spine, shoulders forward, concaving through the middle. Two more like this. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Inhale forward, exhale back. And then reach your arms forward, coming into plank. Tuck your toes under, or if you're newer to the practice, you can keep the knees on the mat. Rise up into your plank. Squeeze your shoulder blades down away from your ears. See if you can lower your buttocks down in line with your body. And we're just going to pause here for a moment. Noticing moments of pause, noticing transitions in our practice today. And as we pause in our plank, just waiting for the blessings, the gifts to arise. Maybe your strength starts to show up, your willpower, your courage. Can you draw your belly towards the spine, reach the crown of your head forward, reach your heels to the back of your mat. Holding for 3 more breaths. Downward facing dog, good work. Lift the hips high. press into your palms. You can bend the knees if you need to, if the hamstrings are feeling tight. Press your belly back towards your thighs. Really feel all 10 fingertips pressing into the mat. Our beginners, just holding in your down dog. Anyone else, you might like to try Dolphin here, lowering onto one elbow at a time. A little bit more of an extra stretch into the shoulders. Any shoulder injuries, just maybe avoiding this one for now. From your Dolphin, pressing out of the forearms, pressing out of your elbows and palms. Again, you've still got that belly reaching back towards your thighs, your heels softening down towards the floor. If you're in Dolphin pose, rising back up, joining everyone in downward facing dog. Inhale, rock your way forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees to the mat, lower your belly down to the mat. We're going to play with our Locust Pose today, so let the hands float back behind you, inhaling to rise the chest up. Exhale. And if you can, interlace your fingers behind you again. Inhale, lifting up, chest rising away from the mat, knuckles reaching to the back of the mat. And last one, release the hands, reaching them towards the back of the mat. See if maybe you can also lift the soles of your feet up away from the floor. Take the gaze up, lift up. Exhaling, crocodile pose, hands stack underneath your forehead, resting, big toes to touch, heels wide. Taking a breath here, just letting that go. Taking a prone quad stretch. Reach your left arm forward, kick the right heel towards your buttock and take a hold of the top of the right foot. Then just start to squeeze the right heel down towards your buttock. See if you can reach the right knee towards the back of the mat a little. Sending some breath down to the front of the right thigh. And release the foot, release your hands, switching to the other side. Hugging the left heel in towards the buttock, taking a hold of the foot, squeezing. Feel the front of the left thigh opening. Release the foot, release both hands, draw them back underneath your shoulders, press up to hands and knees, tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. From here, we're going to slowly walk our feet towards the front of the mat. So rather than jumping today, just taking some small steps. We're going to play with our sun salute in a variation today. Just trying to exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Just trying to encourage this changing up of our habits. And notice how you respond to trying something anew or a bit different. From your forward fold, bend your knees deeply. Start to uncurl, stacking your spine, rising all the way up. Send your arms up overhead. Pistol grip with your hands. So cross your thumbs, interlace your fingers, but keep your index fingers reaching up towards the sky. Exhale, hold. Gentle back bend. Inhale, gaze up, lift your chest to the sky. Press your hips forward slightly. And as you exhale, bend the knees, fold forward. Let the hands come all the way behind the lower back. Interlace your fingers. Inhale, halfway lift. So if you can, straighten the legs, draw the knuckles towards the back of the mat, lengthen your head forward. Exhale, place your hands down, step back to your plank pose. Option to come to your knees, or we're going to take 3 little rocks here. Inhaling the weight forward into your hands. Exhaling, shifting the weight back into the balls of your feet. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, shift back. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, shift back. This time, inhale forward. Exhale, knees, chest to the mat. Coming into those 3 variations of locust. Inhale, reaching up, fingertips to the back of the mat. Exhale, interlace the fingers behind you. Inhale, peel shoulders back, gaze up. Exhale. This time releasing hands, maybe the soles of the feet lift up as well. Exhale, hands underneath the shoulders. This time take the knees wide, extended child's pose, big toes touching. We're going to keep our hands up on the fingertips, so lift your wrists up away from the mat. Bring your forehead to rest on the floor, keeping the arms nice and long. And just breathing some space into the sides of your body. Plant the hands down, lift up into your downward facing dog. Tuck the toes under, lifting your knees away from the mat. Inhale, right leg high towards the sky. 3-legged dog. Exhaling, stepping your right foot all the way through low lunge. Anjaneyasana, left knee to the mat. Inhale, reach arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands together at your heart space. Taking a twist. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward. Then as you exhale, see if you can hook the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Feel a long line all the way from the left knee out the crown of your head. If this twist feels too much, bring the left hand back to the inside of the right foot. 2 more breaths here. And if you haven't already, release left hand to the floor, right fingertips to the sky. Holding here, or if it's possible, take a thigh stretch, kicking the left heel towards your right buttock. Catching a hold of the left foot with the right hand. Releasing both hands down to frame the right foot. Runners stretch straight and through the right leg. Lengthen your chest forward. Lengthening through the back of the right leg. Breathing into that right hamstring. And plant the right foot forward, tuck the left toes under, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Repeating that on the left, knowing you could come to your knees first if you need to take the left foot to step forward. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, low lunge. Step the left foot between the hands, lower right knee, inhaling arms to the sky. Exhaling, hands to heart space. Inhale, spine lengthens forward. Exhale, hooking the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. That's the way. Press the palms firmly against one another. Releasing the right hand down to the inside of the left foot. Peel the left fingertips up to the sky. Holding here, or if you can, kicking the right heel in towards you, catching a hold of the top of the right foot with the left hand. Noticing any struggles, any lack of comfort. Knowing that this is often when we're on the threshold of new discoveries, new insights. Releasing the foot, stepping your way back into that runner's lunge, this time stretching the left toes back towards you. Chest reaches forward. And downward facing dog. Tuck the right toes under. Step your way back. 5 deep breaths. As we move more into our flow, just trying to notice and be aware of your transitions in and out of the postures. Giving them just as much attention as you do the actual pose, and notice how the quality of your transition affects where you then end up. So changing things up. Walk your hands towards your feet at the back of your mat. Bend your knees, forward fold. Inhale, uncurl the spine, sweep your arms all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, this time it's the left elbow that's going to drop in towards the waist. Keep your right arm up. We're going to step into our dancer pose. So stepping your right foot forward, spread your toes wide. Rock your weight forward and kick the left heel towards your buttock. Reach down and take a hold of the inside edge of your foot. Bring your knees back to touch. You want the fleshy part of your elbow to be open and the shoulder to be open rather than that grip there. Open the shoulder up. Finding your balance on the right leg. Inhale, lift through the chest. Start to reach the right arm forward. Kick the left foot back. Squeeze that right thigh, engaged. Engage through that standing leg. Spread the toes of your right foot. Find a nice strong grounding. Steady with your gaze. And then watching this transition. Inhale, back up. We're going to kick that left foot forward, stepping into pyramid. So step the left foot forward, turn the right toes out on a 45-degree angle, sweep your arms behind you and take a hold of opposite elbows. Inhale, puff your chest. Exhale, lengthen your spine forward. So you should have your left foot in front, both legs straight and strong. Hug your left thigh bone in and up towards you. Nice flat back, beautiful. And playing with the transitions. Inhale, rise up. Turn both feet towards the long edge of the mat. Interlace your fingers behind you. Wide stance, forward fold. Puff your chest. Exhale, fold down. Keep reaching your knuckles up and overhead. Letting your head drop down towards the mat. Inhale, draw your knuckles down towards the lower spine. Rise your way back up. Warrior two. Turn the left toes forward. Turn the right toes towards the long edge of the mat. Front left heel in line with the arch of the back foot. Taking a half bind, bring the right hand, place it to the left hip, or maybe it just hangs behind the lower back. Flip the left palm, reach up and back, reverse warrior with half bind. Keep lifting that left side of your chest up towards the sky. Chin to chest, chest to sky. You can press down into the right palm, helping lengthen that left side of your body. Keep the bind triangle pose. Inhale, straighten the left leg, reach forward with the left arm, and let it drop onto the left shin, or maybe it can come to the outside edge of the front foot. Roll the right shoulder up and back, turn your gaze up towards the sky. Both legs are engaged, straight and strong. And take your gaze down towards the front foot. Again, we're going to play with our balance and keep this half bind if you can. Keep that right hand where it is. Half moon. Bend the front knee, step up, lift the right heel up to hip height. You can always use a block underneath the left fingertips. Maybe you can hover the left hand. Imagine you're kicking the right heel into the wall behind you. Maybe you can turn your gaze towards the right side of the room. Maybe you can turn it up to the sky. Last little challenge, you might just stay here working on the balance. Otherwise, you could take Shavasana or our sugar cane, catching a hold of the top of the right foot and extending the top of the right foot into the hand. Woo, let's release all the way back. Find your downward facing dog, exhaling. Awesome work. Let's flash it out with that little variation. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, rocking in plank. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Just firing up the core. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. This time, inhale, forward. Exhale, knees, chest to the mat, elbows alongside the wrists. Locust pose. Inhale, peel up, fingertips reach back. Exhale, hover here. Inhaling, interlace the fingers, reaching knuckles back. Last locust, lifting soles of the feet to the sky, lifting fingertips to the back of the room, shoulders back, gaze up. Exhaling, hands underneath the shoulders. Again, that extended child's pose, knees wide, big toes touching, forehead to the mat. Coming up onto the fingertips or keeping the hands on the fingertips. Just to find some nice space all the way through the sides of your body. An activated or active child's pose. And recalling your intention, keeping it with you, letting it guide you as we move into the other side, rising back up into your down dog. Exhale. Mixing things up, hands walk back towards the feet, inhaling. Exhaling, forward fold at the back of your mat. Roll up, buttocks sit down, arms sweep out and up, palms touch overhead. This time leaving the left arm up, bringing the right elbow in towards your waist, dancer pose. Step the left foot forward, find your balance. Taking a hold of the inside edge of the right foot, knees together, chest lifts, open up and out. Left fingertips forward, right fingertips back. Engage the left quad, keep bringing that left sitting bone underneath you. And playing with the transition, knees back to touch. We let that right foot step forward, pyramid pose. Turn the left toes out on a 45-degree angle. Sweep around, maybe catching a hold of opposite elbows or coming to reverse prayer. Puff the chest, inhale, exhale, lengthen forward into your pyramid. Both sides of the body are long, belly to spine, both legs straight and strong, hugging that right hip back slightly. Keep extending your chest towards the front edge of your mat. And moving into our wide stance forward fold. Inhale, slowly rise up. Pivoting on the heels towards the left side of the mat. Interlace your fingers. Inhale, puff the chest. Exhale, folding down and forward. Letting the head relax. Taking a few breaths here. Keeping your hips up above the ankles. Shift the weight a little bit more forward. Inhale, rise up. Bring the hands down towards the lower back as you rise tall. We open out to warrior two. Right toes turning to the front of the mat. Maybe the left heel shuffles a bit further back. Gaze to the right middle finger. Taking that half bind, sliding the left hand, maybe to take a hold of the right hip, maybe it just rests in the lower back. Sweep the right arm up and back, reverse warrior. If you've got that bind, press down into the left palm. Feel that, press down into the right thigh. See if you can feel that length through the right side of the body. Chin to chest, chest lifts the sky. Lift through the left inner thigh. Keep the bind, triangle pose, straighten through the right leg. Reach forward with the right fingertips, resting hands to the front shin, or maybe right hand can come to the pinky toe edge of the right foot. Turn that left shoulder up and back, gaze up towards the ceiling. Shifting into our half moon, see if you can keep the bind. Gaze forward, stepping that back foot up, lifting the left heel to hip height. If you've got a prop, maybe bringing it underneath the right hand. Keep finding energy engaged through the left leg. Maybe just holding here, working on your balance, or Shavasana, taking a hold of the top of the left foot and then starting to open out into that left thigh by pressing the top of the left foot into the left hand. Releasing everything back. Find your own transition back to down dog. Taking 3 more breaths in your down dog. Slowly walk your feet all the way to the top of your mat, feet towards the hands. Noticing little step by little step. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, uncurling the spine, reaching the arms out and up. Coming into that pistol grip, thumbs crossed, index fingers reaching tall. Exhale. Inhale, gentle back bend, chest to the sky, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold, bowing down, interlacing hands behind the lower back. Halfway lift, knuckles to the back of the mat, straightening through the legs. Exhaling, hands to the mat, step into plank. Holding here or 3 little rocks. Inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale forward, knees, chest to the mat. Locust pose, inhaling, shoulders back, gaze up. Exhaling, interlace the fingers. Inhale, drawing the chest away from the mat. Exhaling, releasing the hands. Inhale, lift everything up. Exhaling, hands underneath the shoulders, pressing up and back. Finding that extended child's pose. Active through the sides of the body, keeping the fingertips on the mat, wrists up away from the mat. Let's have a play with that same flow, right and left. Rise up into your down dog. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Exhale, forward fold at the back of your mat. Inhale, upward salute, rising up, sweeping the palms up to touch. Exhale, left elbow down to the left waist. Inhale, step the right foot forward, coming into Dhanurasana bow pose. Catch the inside edge of your foot, knees together. Puff the chest, open up and out. Reach right arm forward, kick the left foot into the left hand. Inhale, rise back up. We let go of the left foot, stepping forward into pyramid. Open the arms up and out as you turn the right toes out, catching a hold of opposite elbow or maybe reverse prayer. Pinky fingers sliding up between the shoulder blades. Lengthen your spine forward. Squeeze the thighs. Squeeze the inner thighs towards one another. Lengthen your chest forward. Draw the shoulder blades down away from your ears. Inhale to rise up, letting the hands interlace behind your back. Exhale, pivoting feet. Inhale, gaze to the sky. Exhale, wide stance, forward fold, dropping down. Inhale to rise back up. Warrior two, open the left foot forward, maybe move the right toes back. Let the right hand come to that half bind, flip the left palm, reverse your warrior. Opening into the heart on the left side, gazing up. Keeping that left knee over the left ankle. Extend through the left leg, Trikanasana, keeping the half bind if you can with that right hand. Curl that right shoulder up and back, chin towards the right shoulder, gazing up. Half moon, gaze to the front foot, step the back foot in and up. Lifting the right heel to hip height. Hip height. Maybe taking a sugarcane pose, catching the top of the right foot, pressing the foot into your right hand. And finding your own transition back to your downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Maybe opening the mouth, sighing it out. Two more like that. Left side, left leg sweeps to the sky. No, it doesn't. See, that's my habit. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Bend the knees, forward fold. And how sweep the arms all the way up to the sky. Palms touch. This time, right elbow drops to the waist. Step forward on the left foot. And then let that right hand catch the inside edge of the right foot. Knees back together. Puff the chest, open up and out. Finding your dancer. Let the wobbles guide you to balance. Coming back up, knees to touch. Let that right foot kick forward. Turn the left toes out on a 45-degree angle, sweeping the arms behind you. Reverse prayer or holding opposite elbow. Inhale, puff your chest. Exhale, lengthen your spine forward. Shoulders down. Finding a nice long spine, nice long hamstrings. Inhale, rise up. Just release the hands to interlace behind you as you exhale, pivoting, toes parallel. Puff the chest, inhale. Exhale, bowing down. So keeping on changing up our perspective throughout the class. Shifting our bodies. Shifting our minds. Rise back up, inhale. Open to warrior two, right arm forward. Left hand to the bind. Flip the right palm, reverse warrior. Keep opening the right knee to the pinky toe edge of the foot, of the front foot. Trikanasana, inhale, straighten the right leg, reach forward. Right hand to the shin, turning that left shoulder up and back. Half moon, gaze down, step the back foot forward, rise up. Holding in your half moon or sugarcane pose. Catch the top of the foot. Press the top of the foot into the left hand. Wherever you are, grounding into the right big toe, the base of the pinky toe, the center of the right heel. Releasing everything back to your downward facing dog. Find a little vinyasa, ripple forward to plank, inhaling. Exhaling, pressing your heels to the back of the mat. Little rocks, inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale, knees to the mat, chest down to the mat. This time kicking both heels towards your buttocks for bow pose. If you can, catching a hold of the top of your feet. If you can't, maybe just doing one foot at a time for a thigh stretch. Otherwise, starting to lift your thighs up away from the mat. Lifting by kicking the tops of your feet into your hands. Draw your shoulders back. Lift your chest up away from the mat. Gaze up, lift up. Lifting everything up onto the pelvis. Strengthening the back side of your body. Opening up into the front of the body. One more breath. And release down, hands underneath your shoulders. Extended child's pose. Knees wide, big toes touching, forehead to the mat. Relaxing here in your extended child's pose, just letting the hands be flat on the mat. Take a few breaths to come back to an awareness of your breath. I often like to use this extended child's pose as its own little transition, a moment of pause before we move into integrating all of that flow into some deeper stretches, or today our peak pose, bridge and wheel. We're just taking these breaths. A moment to slow down. And rocking yourself up to all fours. You turn around to lie on your back, letting your legs lengthen forward. Come into our wind removing pose, or Uttanasana, drawing the right knee in towards your chest. Keeping the left leg extended, squeezing the right knee down towards the outside of the body. And releasing that right leg, switching to the other side, left knee drawing in, interlacing the fingers onto the left shin. Squeezing that left knee towards you. And releasing the left foot. This time drawing both knees in towards your chest. Interlacing the fingers onto the shins. Squeezing both knees in towards you. We're going to slide our hands down towards the top of the ankles and see if we can plant our feet, our heels close to the buttocks, feet hip distance apart. Release your hands, palms facing down alongside your hips. We're going to roll our way up into bridge, sort of rolling up through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Coming up to the top of your bridge. And you might like to just hold here, pressing down into the palms of your hands, or for an extra bit of chest and heart opening, interlace your fingers and reach your knuckles towards your heels. And see if you can bring your chest towards your chin. See if you can feel the soles of your feet pressing firmly into the mat. Opening across the front of the hips, the front of the thighs. And if you've interlaced the hands, releasing your palms back to the mat, slowly rolling back down. And we're going to roll back up into our bridge, inhaling And exhaling, tailbone towards the navel, lifting the buttocks up away from the mat, pressing down into the palms of the hands. You might just stay here, or if wheel Dhanurasana is in your practice, bring your hands and place the fingertips towards your shoulders. Draw your elbows towards one another. To begin with, you're going to just come up in 2 steps onto the crown of your head, keeping the knees hip distance apart, and then maybe straightening through the arms, lifting all the way up into your wheel pose. Try to not let the knees splay wide. Try to keep that engagement through your inner thighs. And if you've come all the way up, slowly lowering back down. If you're in your bridge, slowly rolling your way back down. Everyone taking a breath at the bottom. Let's take one more, either in bridge or in wheel, whatever your body's calling for. These postures, these back bends, really great for strengthening our backs, strengthening the back side of our body, looking back, and then opening the entire front side of the body, opening to new adventures, new opportunities, unfolding in a new way as we move back. Slowly coming down from wherever you are. Take a breath, pausing at the bottom. And then take your arms out wide and start to windscreen wipe your knees, gently dropping them from side to side. And then allow both knees to drop over to the right. Perhaps you just hold here. Maybe this twist feels good, just relaxing here. Otherwise, an option to come into cat pulling its tail. So with the knees dropped to the right, you'll extend the left leg long, reaching it all the way to the right side of the room. And maybe your right hand can catch a hold of the right foot. Maybe your left hand can reach down and catch a hold of the left foot. And if all of that was confusing, just come into your own variation of a twist. And if you've taken the twist, cat pulling its tail, just let your legs both swing back to center. Everyone bringing both knees to center. And then allowing both knees to drop, letting them sway to the left. If you want to come into that twist, it's the right foot that extends all the way over to the left side of your room. Maybe the left hand catching the right foot. Maybe you can reach the right hand down to take a hold of the left foot. You get a nice opening and stretch into the front of the left thigh, the front of the left hip. Also a nice stretch into that right hamstring. And a little bit of compression through your torso. A little squeeze and massage for our internal organs. When you're ready, releasing your way out, bringing both knees back to center, final big hug of both knees in towards your chest. A little rock side to side if that feels good. Well done, everyone. Transitioning now into your final Shavasana. The best part, coming to find a comfy place. If you need some extra layers, putting on your jersey or whatever now. And then coming to relax, lying yourself down in Shavasana. Rolling shoulder blades underneath you. Tuning back into the parts of your body in connection with the mat. And with each exhale, letting yourself surrender and relax into this final shape. Taking this time of rest. What are you being called to do anew? If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change the way you think about it. Slowly starting to bring your attention back. Wiggling your fingers and toes. Giving yourself a big stretch. Reaching your arms up overhead. And rolling onto one side, whatever side feels good. Just using one arm like a pillow. Taking a few breaths on your side. And then when you're ready, pressing yourself back up. Find a comfortable seat, cross-legged or kneeling. Then bring your hands together at your heart space, thumbs against your sternum, letting your elbows draw wide, closing down the eyes and finding a nice tall spine. Feel your sitting bones grounding down into the mat. A sense of lifting and lightness through the crown of your head. Just transitioning out of our practice by taking a moment to notice. Noticing the effects of your practice. Scan your body, scan your mind. Knowing that we are always transforming in a constant state of transformation. Bringing your thumbs up between your eyebrows to your third eye. We bow to one another. Namaste.